To give the call to member for Goldstein.
Thank you, Deputy Speaker. And Deputy Speaker, the Morrison government is proud to support young Australians throughout this difficult period to make sure they have the opportunity to secure employment and be able to progress with their life. And the previous speaker, the member for Kingsford Smith, had a number of disparaging remarks regarding the government's record. I'd simply remind the member for Kingsford Smith of the experience that many young Australians had during the 1990s recession, and without wanting to reflect on your age, Deputy Speaker, I suspect you at least would remember that period. I was a young adult at that time, just coming out of high school and into secondary school. And I remember those experiences being a political awakening for me of the economic and human consequences of what happens when people find themselves unemployed. They find that they aren't able to progress with their life in the usual way, and being able to do things like buy a home, advance their career, and of course provide security for their family. But of course, for many people who are already in employment, it meant taking a step backwards. And the legacy of the 1990s recession, the recession that we had to have under Paul Keating, led to a trail of human and social tragedy that far transcended the economic disruption that was critical. And many of the people who lost their jobs never found jobs to be able to progress their career again. Many suffered for years as they struggled to get ahead. By comparison to the COVID-19 recession that we had throughout last year as a consequence of events outside of our control, we have managed to turn around the economic circumstances and the job creation in a rapid period of time. And it's because, firstly, we were prudent in the lead up to the crisis, so we had the resources to throw at it to create the job opportunities for young Australians, and indeed all Australians who found themselves displaced. But critically, we had targeted measures to encourage employers to find a pathway for young Australians to get back into work. And we did that because we understand how critical work is to people's sense of fulfilment and purpose in life. The very concept of dignity of work sits at the heart of who we are and what we stand for as a government. And of course, we know that once people are in a position to secure employment, they're in a position to be able to move ahead with their lives and, as I said before, secure employment, buy their own home, provide security and support for their family, and of course, that's the foundation for them to then have retirement security as well. And let's look at the hard facts. In February 2021, the youth unemployment rate stood at 12.9%, more than double the unemployment rate for the overall labour force of 5.8%. But that's substantially down from where it was, where we saw young Australians bear the biggest brunt as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic. We can take comfort in the numbers for unemployment overall, but we still need to keep targeting youth unemployment. That's why there have been critical measures like the JobMaker hiring credit, which is available to employers for each new job they create over the next 12 months for which they hire an eligible young Australian. Employers will receive up to $200 a week for 12 months if they hire an eligible young Australian aged between 16 to 29 years, or $100 a week if they hire an eligible young person aged between 30 and 35 years. And the expectation is that with that investment to encourage or prime employers to bring more workers on, and particularly to make sure that young Australians don't experience disruption once they finish their secondary school, their tertiary education, and get into the workforce, is that not just those young Australians will be able to go on and live fulfilling and productive lives, though we do, not just that they will go on and, of course, be able to make a contribution to the collective well-being of society by both taking care of themselves and their families, but also, of course, sharing the cost of society by paying tax, though they will. It's also expected we'll be able to provide 450,000 positions for young Australians to be able to live out their ambition to secure employment so they can have the foundation for the success in their own life. And of course, we provided funding like $21.9 million to connect more young Australians to youth specialist employment services and targeted support services, including providing transition to work strategies for those who are leaving school and need opportunities as well. Because this government understands very clearly that young Australians, as a consequence of the COVID-19 pandemic, face barriers But our job is to smooth them over and make sure that they are able to go on and live the full success and dreams of their life. Thank you.